Thank you for choosing Wisdom of the Dharma. If you found this video insightful, hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications, so you never miss a new update. Your support helps us keep sharing powerful, life-changing wisdom with the world. And don't forget to drop a comment below. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Let's grow and learn together. Part 1. When darkness has no name. There are moments in life when nothing makes sense. You wake up one day, and everything feels off. Your body is heavy, your heart uneasy. Work that once flowed easily now drags like wet sand. Conversations turn tense for no reason. You lose things, your keys, your focus, your drive. Money slips away without explanation. And worst of all, it feels like you're being watched, not by eyes, but by something colder, quieter, invisible. Most people shrug it off as coincidence. A bad day. A streak of bad luck. But those who are attuned to energy know better. This is the mark of unseen interference. In the ancient teachings of the Dharma, not all suffering arises from within. Sometimes, it comes from external forces, subtle, formless energies directed toward us with envy, resentment, or unspoken hatred. The Buddha taught that intention carries weight. Thought itself is a form of energy. And when someone harbors dark thoughts about you, even in silence, it leaves a trace. A frequency. A shadow. We live in a world where energy is exchanged constantly. Every word, every look, every unspoken feeling forms threads that bind or break us. And just as sunlight nourishes a tree, toxic energy can wilt a soul. But here's the good news. You don't have to confront, accuse, or even name the source of this energy. You don't need to know who sent it. You only need to know how to neutralize it. In today's teaching, you'll learn about an ancient but simple method, a method involving nothing more than a glass of salt and the quiet of your freezer. It may sound too easy, too strange. But don't underestimate it. What we share today is not superstition. It's rooted in centuries of spiritual wisdom, natural law, and energetic understanding. Before the end of this video, you'll not only understand why this works, but also how to do it with intention and awareness, so you can clear your space, restore your energy, and walk through life with quiet power. The ones who meant you harm will never know what stopped them. So before we begin, do something powerful. Like this video to invite light into your day. Subscribe to Wisdom of the Dharma to walk this path with us. And leave a comment. I release what is not mine. I am protected. Let that be your first step into energetic clarity. Now, let's begin. Part 2, the Dharma of Energy, Why Negativity Sticks. In the Dharma, all things, seen or unseen, are made of energy. Your thoughts, your emotions, your intentions, your words. Every act, whether born in kindness or rooted in resentment, radiates a frequency that either uplifts or pollutes the space around you. But what happens when these energetic imprints are not pure? What happens when someone silently sends you envy, anger, or ill will? They may never speak a word. They may smile when they see you. But the energy behind their eyes carries a vibration, and that vibration seeks a home. If your own energy field is open, scattered, or weakened, those dark waves can find their way in. The Buddha did not ignore the presence of Mara, the tempter, the force of delusion and destruction. He sat beneath the Bodhi tree not just with resolve, but with unshakable awareness, knowing that external energies would try to unseat his clarity. And they did. Mara came, not with weapons, but with fear, doubt, seduction, and accusation. These were not metaphors. These were energies, real and potent. The Dharma teaches that the mind is not a sealed chamber. It is porous, like a sponge. It absorbs what surrounds it, light or darkness. And the environments we live in, the people we interact with, even the objects we keep near, all contribute to the energetic landscape of our lives. Negativity sticks because it seeks resonance. Just as a radio picks up certain frequencies, your energetic field, your aura, attracts what matches its state. If you are emotionally drained, anxious, or distracted, you become more susceptible to the thoughts and intentions of others, even from a distance. In Feng Shui, this is seen clearly. Cluttered spaces invite stagnation. Sharp objects pointing at you while you sleep disrupt harmony. Mirrors facing the bed split your soul's energy while you rest. These are not just design issues, they are energetic leaks. But let's be clear, not all darkness is external. Sometimes, the negativity we feel is amplified by our own inner states, old wounds, unprocessed grief, buried resentment. These internal shadows act like magnets, pulling in external negativity and giving it a place to live. That's why cleansing is not just about removing outer forces, it's about resetting your own frequency. Salt alone won't help you if your heart is clouded. But salt, when used with clarity and intention, becomes a spiritual ally, a grounding force that absorbs what no longer serves and creates space for light. So before we freeze anything, we must first understand, what you carry within you matters just as much as what comes from outside. And the only way to protect yourself fully is to begin with awareness, the root of all transformation in the Dharma. Part 3, Salt, the crystalline guardian. In every monastery across the Himalayas, there is one item quietly present, humble, unassuming, but sacred: salt. To the ordinary eye, it is just a seasoning. But to those who understand the energetic world, salt is one of the purest natural guardians we have. It is no accident that cultures separated by oceans all came to the same conclusion. Salt purifies, protects, and preserves, not just food, but energy. Why? Because salt is one of the rare substances in nature that holds a perfect crystalline form, orderly, stable, and geometrically pure. In spiritual science, such symmetry is not just aesthetic, it is powerful. It gives salt the ability to hold intention, absorb chaotic vibrations, and anchor balance wherever it is placed. Long before modern air purifiers, Himalayan salt crystals were used in temples to calm the air, not only physically, but energetically. The negative ions they emit have been shown to clear not just pollutants, but emotional heaviness, tension, and conflict. In Japan's Shinto tradition, salt is sprinkled at the entrance of homes and theaters to repel evil spirits. In Tibetan rituals, it's mixed with sacred herbs and thrown into fire to dissolve dense energy. In old European folk practice, people toss salt over their left shoulder to blind the devil lurking behind. Though the language and imagery vary, the principle remains: salt absorbs what we cannot see. But what truly makes salt special is its neutrality. It is not aggressive. It doesn't fight negativity. It simply receives, holds, and neutralizes. It grounds energy, pulling it from the chaos of movement into the stillness of form. In the Dharma, this is the highest form of protection, not to attack what threatens you, but to stabilize your own space so thoroughly that disharmony simply cannot stay. When you place salt in a room, or even on your altar, it begins working immediately. Not because of magic, but because of alignment. It listens. It receives. And it holds. But this only works if you treat it with the respect it deserves, not as a trick, but as a partner. When you combine salt with mindfulness, intention, and stillness, you are not just cleansing a room. You are recalibrating the entire energy field around you. So before we speak of freezers, glass cups, or rituals, understand this: salt is not superstition, it is structure. It is sacred geometry gifted by nature, waiting to be activated by your awareness. It is your crystalline guardian, and it asks for nothing but purpose. Part 4, Freezing Karma, How the Cold Traps Energetic Intention. In the natural world, cold slows things down. Water stops flowing. Growth pauses. Even bacteria retreat into stillness. But in the realm of energy, cold does something even more profound. It traps vibration. Every intention, every emotion, every subtle thought we send out moves like a wave. And just like water, energy prefers to move freely. But when we expose those waves to extreme cold, particularly when they've been absorbed into salt, we don't just slow them. We freeze them in place. This is why placing salt in the freezer becomes so powerful. It's not about superstition. It's about physics meeting metaphysics. Imagine this. Someone sends envy toward you. That emotion travels. It reaches your energetic space, and if your field is unguarded, it settles in. You feel it as fatigue, confusion, strange tension in the air. But when you've placed a crystal cup of salt in your freezer, something changes. The salt draws that energy in, like a spiritual sponge. And the cold? It locks it down. The vibration is held. The motion is stopped. The damage is suspended. This is not far-fetched. Studies in energy medicine show that colder environments have fewer erratic frequencies. That's why monks often retreat into mountain caves. The cold preserves clarity. In Feng Shui, freezers represent yin energy, stillness, conservation, hidden protection. When paired with salt, a yang purifier, they create harmony, absorption and containment. But there's something deeper at play. By placing your intention into that salt, your wish to be free from harm, and placing it into the cold, you are symbolically and energetically saying, this ends here. No more circulation of harm. No more looping karma. No more hidden cords tying you to others' resentment. What was once active becomes still. And that is how karma, when met with consciousness, can be paused, processed, and released. You are not fighting fire with fire. You are choosing ice. Part 5, A Monk's Tale, Salt in the Icebox. In a quiet monastery nestled in the mountains of Bhutan, a young disciple came to his master with weary eyes and trembling hands. Master, he said, my heart is restless. My sleep is broken. I feel watched, judged, and cursed by those who smile in front of me but whisper behind closed doors. The old monk smiled, not with pity, but with knowing. He led the boy to the monastery's humble kitchen, opened a wooden cabinet, and took out a small crystal bowl. Then he reached for a jar of coarse Himalayan salt and began to pour. Take this, he said, fill it to the brim with your intention, to be free, not from people, but from their shadows. Then place it where the cold is deepest. The cold? The boy asked. The master nodded toward the monastery's ancient icebox, a place rarely used except to preserve sacred herbs. When salt absorbs malice, he said, cold silence traps it. Motionless things cannot harm. Frozen karma cannot travel. The disciple followed every step with care. He filled the bowl with silent prayer, sealed it not with a lid, but with faith, and placed it in the far corner of the icebox. 7 days passed. On the 8th morning, the boy returned, not lighter in body, but brighter in spirit. My dreams are quiet again, he whispered. And those who once stared at me with cold eyes now look away. The monk only smiled and said, it was never about the salt. It was about your decision to no longer carry what wasn't yours. In the Dharma, protection doesn't always roar. Sometimes, it simply sits in stillness, doing its quiet work, absorbing what's meant to leave, freezing what's meant to stop. And like the bowl in the ice, your own power begins to return, wordless, weightless, complete. Part 6. The Ritual and the Word, a practice of still power. There is power in ritual, not because of the objects we use, but because of the intention we pour into them. The practice of freezing salt to dissolve negativity is deceptively simple. But do not mistake simplicity for weakness. The Dharma teaches that even a single breath, when taken with awareness, becomes a portal to liberation. The same is true here. Begin with purity. Choose a clear glass cup, nothing plastic, nothing metal. Glass is neutral, transparent. It allows energy to move freely and honestly. Fill the cup with coarse sea salt or Himalayan salt, salt that retains its natural crystalline structure. Avoid refined, iodized salt. It has lost its energetic clarity. Hold the cup with both hands. Still your breath. Empty your thoughts. This is not a mechanical task. It is a moment of energy transmission. You are not just placing salt in a freezer. You are anchoring an intention into the physical world. As you pour the salt into the cup, say silently or aloud, "This salt absorbs all that does not belong to me. All harm returns to where it came from. I walk in light. I walk in peace." These words are not spells. They are vibrations. In the Dharma, language is an extension of mind. Every syllable carries karma. When spoken with clarity, your words do not just echo, they shape reality. Place the cup in the freezer with care. Do not rush. Find a quiet corner, undisturbed, where it can sit for 7 full days. Once placed, do not touch it again. Let it do its silent work, pulling, locking, neutralizing. Each time you open the freezer, for food, for ice, for anything, pause. Let your eyes rest on the cup. Whisper, "I am protected. I am centered. I am free." These affirmations are threads. The more you speak them, the more tightly they weave around your energy field, creating a subtle but impenetrable shield. Over time, these words change you. Not because they are magic, but because you begin to believe them. And belief is the most powerful frequency of all. Part 8. Signs it's working. Subtle shifts in reality. When energy changes, it rarely announces itself. There are no lightning bolts. No fireworks. No sudden explosions. Instead, the world begins to soften in places you once felt tight. That's how you know the ritual is working. At first, the shifts are almost imperceptible. You wake up feeling lighter. The air in your home feels less dense. You walk into your kitchen and realize you're breathing more easily, not physically, but energetically. You no longer carry invisible weight. Then, something stranger happens. The people who used to disturb your peace, those who constantly provoked, manipulated, or sent you silent hostility, begin to behave differently. Some avoid you entirely. Others lose interest. The energy they used to project now bounces back, unable to find its target. You notice that their control over the environment weakens. Their gossip falls flat. Their influence in your space begins to dissolve, like fog lifting after sunrise. This is not coincidence. It is the natural law of energy. In the Dharma, we call it karmic redirection. When intention meets resistance, it returns to its source. Not because you sought revenge, but because you removed yourself as a vessel. Even technology begins to respond. Fewer strange glitches. Less tension in your devices and tools. You may even notice plants in your home look healthier, because energy affects all forms of life. And within yourself, you find a curious quiet. Your mind feels less invaded. Your thoughts are your own again. Meditation becomes easier. Decision-making clearer. It's as if a fog you didn't know existed has finally cleared. You don't feel victorious. You feel still. That's the real sign. The battle has ended not with noise, but with absence. Not with triumph, but with detachment. When the world no longer sticks to you, when negativity slides off like water on stone, you'll know the ritual has done its work. Part 9, Real Life Cases, 3 Stories of Silent Reversal. Not everyone will believe in energy. But those who've lived through unexplainable heaviness, misfortune that logic can't account for, emotions that aren't theirs, relationships that sour without cause, know there's something more at play. And those who've practiced the salt ritual with mindfulness often report outcomes that defy coincidence. Here are 3 such stories. Story 1, The Entrepreneur and the Silent Competitor. Maya, a small business owner in Oregon, noticed something strange after expanding her online store. Sales dipped. Her social media ads glitched. Clients began canceling appointments without reason. She didn't suspect sabotage until a friend mentioned a former collaborator who had started a rival store, mirroring her brand. Maya didn't want to confront anyone. Instead, she focused inward. She followed the salt in the freezer ritual for 7 days, using pink Himalayan salt and repeating a quiet affirmation each morning. I do not compete. I attract what's mine. On day 5, something shifted. Her inbox, which had been flooded with complaints, went quiet. Clients returned. Orders picked up. And strangely, the rival store went offline temporarily due to technical difficulties. Maya didn't celebrate anyone's loss. She just smiled and kept the salt ritual going every full moon. The energy around me changed, she said. Not because I fought back, but because I stepped out of the field where the fight was happening. Story 2, The Teacher Who Couldn't Sleep. Derek, a high school English teacher in Colorado, had never believed in spiritual practices. But after a conflict with a colleague over a promotion, he began to experience something he couldn't explain: constant fatigue, nightmares, and chest tightness that tests couldn't diagnose. His wife, more spiritually inclined, suggested the freezer salt method. Skeptical but desperate, Derek agreed. They followed the process exactly, placing a full cup of sea salt into their deep freezer. He whispered a phrase before bed each night: "What is not mine returns to where it came from." The nightmare stopped by night 4. By the end of the week, Derek reported sleeping soundly and feeling more focused. Oddly enough, his colleague who had been cold and combative suddenly asked to switch departments. No confrontation, Derek noted. Just release. Story 3, The Divorced Mother and the Courtroom Pressure. Samantha, a single mom in Arizona, was going through a bitter custody battle. Every time she thought things were improving, her ex-partner's legal team would present strange new evidence, prolonging the process. She felt watched, drained, and powerless. She learned about energetic clearing while watching a Dharma talk and decided to try it. She poured sea salt into a clear glass cup, recited a mantra her meditation teacher gave her: "I do not hold what is not mine," and placed the salt in the freezer. The following week, something shifted. The opposing counsel missed a filing deadline. The judge requested neutral mediation. The tone of the entire process lightened. Most notably, Samantha felt more centered, calm even in moments of uncertainty. She later told her therapist, "I didn't win by fighting. I just stopped absorbing the fight." The power of quiet return. These stories aren't about revenge. They're about energetic disengagement, stepping out of the hidden battlefield and letting nature restore balance. You don't have to cast spells or call anyone out. You simply choose to protect your space and let karma do its work. If this teaching resonates with you, or if you've experienced similar shifts, we invite you to support this channel. Like this video, subscribe to Wisdom of the Dharma, and turn on notifications so you never miss the sacred tools we uncover together. And remember, when you reclaim your energy, life gently returns what truly belongs to you. Part 10, The Karma Principle, Why They Fall. In the Dharma, there is no such thing as coincidence, only cause and effect. When someone sends out harmful energy, even silently, they are planting seeds. Not in your life, but in their own. And when you remove yourself as the fertile soil, those seeds have nowhere to grow but back home. This is why, after performing the salt ritual, many people observe something strange. The ones who once caused trouble begin to falter. Not through revenge. Not through confrontation. But through karmic return. They may lose influence. Their plans unravel. Their relationships strain. You do nothing, but everything shifts. It's important to understand, you are not punishing them. You are simply refusing to participate in their karma. By protecting your energy, you allow the universe to take over. And the universe, in its quiet balance, always delivers what is earned. Sometimes, they become restless, anxious, lost. The same anxiety they sent now circles them. Their own words return as whispers behind their backs. Their obstacles mirror what they once wished upon others. The Buddha taught, hatred never ceases by hatred. It only ceases by love. But love also means boundaries, knowing when to step back and let karma speak. When you no longer carry their darkness, it finds its way home. Not as punishment, but as a lesson they must learn. Part 11, What Not to Do, 5 Common Mistakes in the Salt Ritual. Even the most powerful method can lose its strength when performed without mindfulness. The salt ritual is simple, but not casual. To truly protect your energy, you must approach it with presence and precision. Here are 5 common mistakes to avoid. 1. Touching or moving the cup. Once placed in the freezer, the salt is absorbing subtle energies. Moving or disturbing it too early may release what hasn't yet been neutralized. 2. Using the wrong container. Avoid metal or plastic. These materials disrupt energetic flow. A clear glass cup ensures purity, transparency, and stable absorption. 3. Covering the salt. Do not seal the cup. The salt must be exposed to air and cold. Covering it blocks its ability to interact with ambient energy. 4. Forgetting your intention. The ritual is not about mechanics, it's about energy. Pouring salt while distracted weakens the effect. Your intention is the ignition. 5. Doubting or interrupting the process. Peeking, worrying, or discarding the salt before the full 7 days breaks the energetic cycle. Doubt cuts the thread. Faith completes it. Remember, this is not just an action, it's a relationship between you, nature, and energy. Do it with reverence, and the results will follow. Part 12, Releasing with Grace, How to End, Even If You Forgot. The salt has served its purpose. After 7 days, it has absorbed what was never yours to carry. But its power, like all things in the Dharma, is not infinite. Just as we must exhale after a deep breath, the salt must also be released, with awareness. Do not throw it away thoughtlessly. Hold the cup gently. Acknowledge what it held. Then pour the salt into running water, your sink, your toilet, a flowing stream if available. Let the water carry it back into the earth, neutralized. As you do, whisper, "What was never mine is gone. What belongs to peace now returns." If you wish to reuse the glass, rinse it thoroughly, preferably with salt water, to remove energetic residue, or set it aside exclusively for future rituals. But what if you forgot? What if the salt stayed in the freezer 10, 20 days? Do not panic. Energy responds to presence, not perfection. If the ritual was done with sincerity, the impact still holds. Simply dispose of the salt as soon as you remember. Speak your release. And next time, set a reminder, honoring both the cycle and your intention. The most important act is not never forgetting. It is always finishing. With clarity. With respect. With grace. Part 13, Final Reflections. When you stop receiving, they stop sending. The truth is simple, but rarely spoken. Energy only travels where it is welcomed. When you are open, unaware, unguarded, others' anger, jealousy, or resentment can slip in, unnoticed. But when you become energetically sovereign, centered, clear, and shielded, those same vibrations lose their destination. They bounce. And in that return, the sender begins to feel what they once projected. This is not vengeance. This is natural law. Like gravity, karma does not require your participation to function. It only requires your clarity, to step away, to stop receiving, and to no longer be available for harm. The salt ritual is not about magic. It's about making a choice. The choice to stop absorbing what doesn't belong to you. The choice to protect your peace without conflict. The choice to let karma do the talking, while you walk quietly in stillness. When you choose not to receive, they will stop sending. Because energy, like water, always seeks the path of least resistance. If this teaching has touched your heart or helped you in any way, please support the wisdom of the Dharma community by liking this video, subscribing to the channel, turning on the notification bell so you don't miss any new guidance on energy, Feng Shui, and Dharma practice. Your support helps us continue spreading ancient wisdom to modern hearts around the world. May you be free from unseen burdens. May your space be clear. And may your path forward be lined with quiet blessings. We'll see you in the next teaching. Until then, peace, clarity, and light.